You're welcome back. And Newsfile, as always, is brought to you by Bank of Africa, strong as a group and close as a partner. MTN, welcome to the new world. Star Assurance, creating smiles since 1985. Accra Akap Compost Fertilizer, truly natural. White Temple Agency, a luxury you can afford. And Royal Lighting, walk in the light. Now, let's go straight and hear from President John Dramani Mahama and Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
It has been, without a doubt, one of the most tremendous privileges of my life to serve this great nation as president and to work on behalf of all Ghanaians. I will leave it to history to be the judge of my time and contributions while in that highest office. I leave it to history to be the judge of my time and contributions while in that highest office. To all the people who cheered us on, who gathered at rallies to show their support, and who queued in long lines to vote for me, I know that this is not the outcome that we wanted and we had hoped for. But I say to you that this day should not mark the defeat of your role in this nation's political process. We must do our part to ensure that the progress of all our past governments, from the very first one led by our nation's founder, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, to this most recent one that I have led, continues, because progress does not happen all at once. It takes time and dedication. In the words of Dr. Nkrumah, forward ever, backwards never. At this point, let me commend the Electoral Commission for living up to its constitutional duty in successfully conducting the 2016 elections. My thanks also goes to the media and all stakeholders for their role in these elections. Once again, allow me to offer my sincere congratulations to the President-elect Nana Akufo-Addo.
There's never been a more humbling moment in my life. And I thank you, the good people of Ghana, for this massive show of support and the confidence you have reposed in me and my party. I make this solemn pledge to you tonight. I will not let you down. And will do all in power to live up to your hopes and expectations. You are to be commended for the mature, peaceful, and orderly manner in which you once again exercised your democratic franchise. The democratic credentials of our nation have been further enhanced by your conduct. The Electoral Commission, under its new leadership, with Charlotte Osei in the chair, is to be congratulated for organizing this credible election. She and the Commission have allayed the fears of many about their capacity to conduct a good election. Fellow Ghanaians, you have not elected me to serve one party, but to serve the entire nation. The President of Ghana is president for every single Ghanaian, without discrimination, malice, or ill will to any ethnic group or political or religious affiliation. Whether you supported me or not, whether you campaigned for me or not, whether you voted for me or not, I can promise you one thing. I will do my best to serve your interests and put our country back on the path of progress and prosperity. God did not put us on this rich land, a land blessed with an abundance of human and natural resources, to be poor. I am confident and I have faith that with God's guidance and your active help, the destiny of freedom, justice, and prosperity that the ancestors and founders of our nation defined for us.
So you had the President, John Dramani Mahama, and President-elect Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Now, quickly, I'm interested to find out whether people like Kwabene Japan, Afoko, whether they have all come in to congratulate and whether they have a place. Not talking about just these people, you have, you know, Sami Crab, you know, Mr. Mpieni, Frank Ejekum, you know, all of these people seem to have fallen out. Have they congratulated the president-elect, and are they getting on board? Will they?
Well, I wouldn't know sitting here between last night and now, because I came from my house to this place and I left the house at about 11 thereabouts. People said they were going to stay there overnight, but I just couldn't because I had to start to go and sleep. So between 11 last night to now, I wouldn't know which people are there. I've been getting messages, everybody saying, I'm in a nice house, where are you? And I say, I'm here. So if they have gone there, I wouldn't know.
Okay.
If they have called him, I wouldn't know. So the other question about, do they have a place I don't know what you mean by do they have a place. But if you mean a place in the governance of Akufo-Addo, certainly the business of every president is to harness not even just the potentials of the people inside his party, but the potential of every Ghanaian.
Okay.
And that is what he meant by
it doesn't matter if you voted
for me or campaign for me, or you are Muslim or Christian or ethnic group or that. So that means that if you are Ghanaian and you have a certain capability, he would use that capability.
The acting chairman, Freddie Blay, has been conspicuously missing.
No, yesterday he was there.
He was there?
He was one of those who were behind.
Oh, I see. I didn't see
the
him.
president-elect.
I didn't see him.
He was there with John Boydu, his general secretary.
So let's start from this note. Kweku, what do you make? The president placed the call, and then everything began to take shape. After the call, then we heard the EC was going to declare, and after the declaration, we had the speeches that were read.
Yes, I think it was a natural course of events within the context of our constitutional order. Then, of course, the character of the leaders involved. I realize that my joy in life posted a story attributed to Akufo-Addo. He said, the Mahama I know will concede defeat.
Right.
And Nana Akufo-Addo was saying the president is a proud patriot who would not allow the country to be plunged into chaos over the election results. Quote unquote, the John Mahama I know is somebody I believe is capable of rising to the occasion. President Mahama vindicated President-elect Akufo-Addo relative to this thing, and I think that's a natural course. We've done that from 1996 up to now, apart from the 1992 elections. Are all the concession statements here, and everything went the same way. 1996, 4 days after the event, the verdict was announced 4 days after the elections. President Kufuor, then the leader of the Great Alliance, came forward, pledged to support. Of course, he also referred to irregularities, that there were some irregularities, but he still conceded power. Same thing has happened till now. So I believe that we are moving, deepening our democracy. Akufo-Addo, that I know, and this is getting to over 40 years, has always had a track record of working with people across the political divide. the political and ideological divide, right from the PMFJ days. So he has it. Come to the AFC days, you know, and the Great Alliance Project. He was very key in formulating that. So he's somebody who has a natural way of working with everybody. And I believe, as he said, he will be president for all, president of Ghana and not president of the NPP.
Right.
In any case, he should wait. The media will not be sparing him at all. There's no doubt about that. The Ghanaian media has changed dramatically.
President Mahama actually asked the media and civil society to keep a critical eye on him.
Yes.
I hope that in the end, we will not be again said to be a cabal against the government.
I will give him critical support.
Okay.
Critical support means that where he's doing well, I will praise him. Where he's not, I will say so.
Right.
I just broke the rules and picked this call because it's from the office.
Okay.
And then they say I should put it out that Sami Crab and Kwabena Japan have called Nana Addo to congratulate him.
Okay.
But I was wondering why you mentioned Kojo Mpieni.
Yes.
What has he done?
No, is it Kwame?
Kojo?
Maybe Kwame.
Kojo, you mentioned Kojo Mpieni.
Mr. Mpieni, yeah.
Why?
Is it Kwame?
No, I thought they
Who said?
they were all
Who said?
there are problems all over the place. Okay.
Please, can we focus
And
on
they
the-
seem to have been sidelined somewhat. Okay, yes.
Because, we have
Yes,
minutes taken away.
JJ.
Yes.
Right.
I want to thank our supporters, especially the NDC supporters. And you see, this time round, I couldn't join the national campaign team, unlike 2012, because I had to concentrate and deliver a seat. And if you look at how we worked, it hurts me that we did not win. I am saddened that we did not win. But I do recall that we had to sleep in boats.
You could tell from the voice of the president.
Yes, yes. I had to sleep in boats, and even it became a social media issue. I was sleeping in the boat and all that. But the president gave it all. Something. I know the pain, the labor, the toil that the president went through. He got to my constituency at 3:30 in the morning after visiting 11 constituencies in the northern region. And if you look at the vast nature of the northern region, he left my constituency at 5 a.m., drove to Kumasi. From Kumasi, he went to Sunyani. From Sunyani, he came for the rally in Accra.
He said he was in government and yet he was campaigning as though he was in opposition.
That is a fact. He gave his all. It's unfortunate that we did
That's
not
why the
make
party
it.
members are blaming you,
But
that you failed him.
We will take the
They
flags.
failed him.
We will take whatever flags. Look, we will take whatever flags. Even if it means sacrificing us, we are ready for that. But you see, yesterday he told me something just before he placed the court in Anado. He said that in life, you take the lows with the highs. And it humbled me. I have confidence in President Mahama. I believe that he has done a good job. And he said it, the posterity would judge him. I congratulate you, Nanado. I wish you all the best. But let posterity judge us all.
So
I
now
wish
we have to
everybody
stop
well.
saying this. Nanado can never be president. They were playing God.
You said President Mills can never be president. You said he was a serial loser. I remember. I remember. 2008.
Stop.
You said he was a serial loser.
Okay,
Stop it.
please.
Okay.
I don't want
Okay,
to...
don't worry, don't worry.
He was
We
a
have a
serial
little
loser.
time. We have a little time. Don't worry.
I remember.
Sorry. We have a little
He
time.
was a serial loser.
Yeah. The show
Then
He
show
lost 3.5.
the show
Or
ends
2.5.
in the next 20 minutes. So
Oh,
just take it
I
easy.
see.
Yeah, take it easy.
I thought we were-
Right.
Okay,
The,
so we have
the
some
president complains about accepting the verdict even though there were irregularities. What was he talking about?
You do recall that following the Supreme Court ruling, Nanado said he disagreed with the judgment, but went ahead to accept it.
Yeah.
In fact, up to date, some leading members of the MPP claim that the judgment was fraud and they wouldn't accept
What are the irregularities the president was talking about?
Let me just come there. We had issues, and Mr. Peter McMahon himself, yesterday I listened to him. He said that he went to the strong room and that there were some infractions, but those infractions could not materially affect the outcome of the results. I do recall that even from the EC, they indicated that there were issues with some infractions and anomalies. So that has been established. But as to whether that would affect the final outcome or not, the president says that, look, despite all those infractions, despite those anomalies, he believes that Nanado ought to be congratulated. He called him, congratulated him, he's accepted the verdict. I think that shows the mark of a statesman.
That's
It
what
ends the
all the
matter.
losers have
It
said
ends the matter.
since
Let's-
96.
let's-
It's documented. It's here. It's all here. All the losers. They concede and then they say there were irregularities.
So
No problem.
let's make
It's
progress
consistent.
Right.
as a nation. But as I keep saying, we'll do a deep introspection, a deep analysis, especially how
I
we lost
ask
those
about
number
the
of parliamentary
irregularities.
seats.
I ask about the irregularities because the claim that was being put out by the NDC was that there were 200 polling stations in the Ashanti region that had overvoting, and that was eventually going to lead to annulment of those results.
On the face of
The
it.
head of the EC in the region spoke to us, and he said they had only 2 reported cases, and in fact they had resolved 1.
Yes.
They were left with 1 more.
Fantastic. So Samson, let's not cry over spilled milk. Look, whether Jonah swallowed the whale or the whale swallowed Jonah, there was a swallow.
This could not be a swallow.
So even if it's 1.5, there was an infraction.
I see.
But you see, beyond that, on a more serious note,
What serious thing to say?
beyond that,
Your
on a
Deputy
more-
General Secretary,
on a
he
more
was
serious
saying
note,
that.
I think that the EC ought to be commended. Doctor,
Yeah.
prior to this election, you saw the physical, verbal attacks on the EC.
Same
I think that all of
2008.
us,
It's
all
always
of us
like that. That you
ought to learn from that experience. The woman was vilified, she was attacked, she was insulted, her image was dragged into the mud. Today, we are praising her. I
Okay,
think we
the
should learn
question
from
was
that.
about irregularities
We should learn from that.
that the president spoke about. So eventually, when Nanado had been waiting for that call, right?
Yes.
And it eventually came.
Anxiously.
Was this process actually choreographed? Because that's what it appears it happened. That it had been planned, that after his concession, the EC chair was going to do the declaration, and then he would give his victory speech, and then President Mahama, because all of them happened in rapid succession.
Yeah, it's a conventional procedure anyway.
Yeah, but I don't think that there was
Choreography.
a deliberate
No, no,
choreography.
no.
You know, what happened was that by 2 p.m., when we were setting that we had won, okay, at that point, we went ahead to prepare our victory speech. Okay, and by that time, 4 candidates had called us to congratulate us. So it was just left with 1, and perhaps the most important one. And so we were basically just sitting around with our speech and waiting for that call. Now, eventually, when the call came at 7:51, some of the elders of the party said, okay, once the call has come, the declaration by Madam Charlotte Osei is immaterial. So let's go ahead and deliver our speech. Then some said, no, in that case, once the president has conceded, she would be compelled, even though she had said Saturday, she was going to do it today. She would have no choice.
I don't think she said that. She said bye.
No, but yesterday when she gave the press conference, she didn't give an engagement that she would do it today. She
But
was
I don't
saying
want
that.
to say she would do it.
Within
Yes,
the 72
yeah, it was
hours.
within.
Yeah.
Well, I
It was
got
within.
to know
Yeah.
yesterday.
Okay,
Yes.
but what I'm saying is that she would
It's
do
no
it
big deal,
yesterday was not known to us. That's the
Of
point
course.
I am making.
Yes,
It wasn't known
yes,
to us,
yes.
so therefore there couldn't have been
I
a
agree.
choreography.
Sure.
And so, but immediately after the president's call, then we also got information from the EC's offices because our people were there. That Madam Charlotte Osei has indicated that in the next 10 minutes she was going to announce the final verdict, and therefore we said, okay, then in that sense, let's hold on to delivering the victory speech until she does it. So that's how come it went that way in rapid succession. There was no deliberate choreography, but one event unfolded after the other.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now, if you are a farmer, a landscaper, or a gardener, and your border has been poor seasonal yields over the period or post-harvest losses due to short shelf life of your produce, ACAP compost fertilizer is what you need. It's an organic fertilizer made from pure organic materials. You can get ACAP compost fertilizer from all leading agro input dealers and distributors across the country. Also, are you looking for the most latest technologically advanced, trendy and durable yet affordable stone-coated roofing tiles? The place to find them is White Temple Agencies Limited, and I'm talking about Fair Roof. That's a luxury you can afford. White Temple Agencies Limited can be found at plot number 65, Derby Avenue, on the Children's Hospital Road, adjacent to NHIS Building Arena, or their sales office branch at Old Weja Barrier, Accra West, and Bank of Africa. The season of giving promo is still on. All you need to do to enter is by depositing or opening an account with 150 Ghana cedis, build your funds, and get rewarded at the end of every month until the 31st of January 2017. There are fridges, there are TV sets, there are smartphones and laptops to be won. Royal Lighting Investment Limited, they have the finest lighting that you could ask for. They have in stock indoor and outdoor lights such as wall lights, ceiling lights, exquisite and antique chandeliers, brick wall lights, and many others, and also lights accessories. Visit their showroom at Bachona off Spintex Road, previously Nick and Siloga building near the Bachona Total. Also, you can install solar power today from the world's leading brand, Victron Energy. They install both off-grid and off-grid solar and hybrid solar systems for residential and commercial users. When you do this, you are reducing your electricity bills by up to 90%. So free yourself from high cost of electricity and sign on to Victron Energy's solar solutions. They offer you 5 years warranty. Visit their showroom at number 10 Abaka Road, Tesano, first floor, same building with Zuzu Restaurant. Thank you very much. And also Prostacure tea, which is a specially formulated health drink, improves any problems at all that you have or all problems you may have in urination. Prostacure tea is from Medimosis Prostate Center. They're located at Adenta Barrier, Tema Ajay Kojo, or Ahenima Kokobing in Kumasi. Now, Prof, what do you say about how these things happened and eventually people went into a frenzy, jubilating, and we seem to have had a good night?
I think that first of all, we should look at what built up to what eventually became. And we've left certain things in. I think I would like to say that the preparation towards this also occurred at Movenpick, the Accra Declaration Ceremony. Okay. Do you recall there was a time that Nana and President Mahama were speaking, especially when the PPP vice candidate, presidential candidate, was talking about they being in the middle. And I think Nana was busy writing, but she turned to President Mahama and said, what did he say? And they all started laughing. I think there were some pictures on social media and so on. So these are human beings, these are leaders. There comes a point at which the intensity of the competition and the campaign also leads to a point where they should meet and accept their humanity, invoke or revive the friendship or that gentleness about them. That came up, and I think we facilitated this way. And I thought that you should have recognized that in the statement you wrote. I mean, the Peace Council and all those who had worked towards that, I thought was important. So make note of that. And I also think that probably a whole lot of people contribute.
I'm sure he acknowledged the Peace Council.
Okay, yeah, okay, but that was, okay, sorry about that. But that was a very important moment.
Both Manado and the President did acknowledge all of those.
Okay, I think I missed that point. The other important point for me is that the EC, has redeemed its image. It was heavily bashed through the trial, the adjudication 2012, and then also some of its weaknesses were exposed. We mistrusted it, and we questioned it so much. And there wasn't much time for the EC to recover. The transition period was extremely short. Okay, and then we were expecting all sorts of things from them. But I think what they have done is that they have redeemed and restored themselves at the level they are, not only in Ghana, but Africa. Yeah. Because everybody saw the EC, the Ghana EC, has trained so many election commission officials and, contributed to managing elections, including Nigeria. Professor Tahiru Yaga, when he came to Ghana, said, look, we learned from these people and knew them. So I think this is great for the EC, it's great for the new leadership, should be given the credit to the chair and the members, and we are happy that they've come back here. But I think that what the niceties have done also poses a risk. You know, our transition is moving us towards transition. And we shouldn't assume that transitions will be smooth.
The president has promised. He's giving his word.
It's not enough.
Everything that the president-elect requires, he will do.
President Mills gave his word, but the transition teams fought. They didn't even complete the negotiations. Then President Kufuor, President Kufuor also promised. You see, the transition teams do not involve the presidents. Sometimes they have people who are well experienced, but no, there is always a clash. No, they boycotted.
Even in the face of the Transition Act, we now have a law that regulates how the process should go.
It still doesn't mean that it is done.
It's far better.
No, look, one of the reasons why Kweku's friend, Jame, is now backing off is a threat from a leading member of the opposition that they would arrest him and prosecute him. They are going to put him in some. Yes, it's very bad. No, a lady. There's a lady who said they would confine him to where he's going. They are not going to allow him to move and so on. You see,
so he got
these are moments where the elite feel intensely insecure. I've dealt with MPP people in 2008 when they were exiting and some of the fears they had. But I think what the two leaders have done is that they have spoken and they will work together. Probably they will guide their negotiation teams. But I also think that the public's encouragement of the two to do as they've done in this final phases of the election is equally important for the transition process.
Okay, thank you. Quickly. Yeah.
The Supreme Court election petition and the fact that it triggered some electoral reforms. One key one being the demystification of the so-called strong room. You see how your correspondent was there, the access, the transparency, very positive. Then also, I think we shouldn't ignore this case, the case that went to the Supreme Court, the 27th October.
Yes, the one that was led by Akoto Ampao, Kofi Benzo.
Yes, and the decision that was
showed that the pink sheets were signed and given to all the agents.
That was also critical.
Okay.
So we are building up our architecture very well.
I think we should highly commend the Supreme Court for the role it's played in leading us.
Yes, so what do you say in 30 seconds? 30 seconds, yeah.
Well, or the judiciary in general.
All in all, I would repeat the mantra on the lips of everybody that Ghana is the ultimate winner, and that we hope that we will have a smooth transition, devoid of rancor and acrimony and so on. And then above all, that at the end of the day, we would have a smooth transition to a new government, and then hopefully we can all hold hands and move our country
Should we
forward.
expect a statement or something to that effect on the Yahya Jammeh situation from the president-elect?
Well, I would go to him after this, and then I would ask him. I don't want to make promises on his behalf.
JJ, is the president also thinking about saying something about the Gambia situation?
No, not right from here.
Other countries,
I'm not the
doing something about
the president.
Yes, I know.
I was. So
yes, you were.
I mean,
but you know, he just told you how he has to learn. You have to learn to take the highs with the lows. Yes. Okay.
But well, I think that Mustafa said it all. But the truth is that expectations are very high. I'm beginning to realize something. The Ghanaian believe that, and as when I made my point, senior comrades said, look, don't compare Ghana to Gambia. It would appear that Ghanaians are raising the stakes very, very high for us, the politicians. And so we may have to learn and see our build on. But I associate with my big brother Abochi's statement. The elections are over. We have a nation to govern. We have a country to build. Let's all commit our resources towards building that. You don't need to be in government to contribute to the economic and social development of this country. We would play our part, including ensuring that we criticize when we have to, including ensuring that we hold government to check, and would expect the media in particular to help us lead that charge. You have charted a path that all of us would follow, and so we'll continue to support the process. But I thank everybody, and I thank the people of Ghana, especially civil society. Sometimes we don't mention your name, but behind the scenes, I do know that.
Okay, thank you very much. This has been Newsfile. I'm Samson Ladi, and my guests have been Abdul Malik Kwekubako, editor-in-chief of the New Crusading Guide newspaper. Dr. Emmanuel Akwete is the executive director of the IDEC, one of the Ghana's foremost governance institutions. Mustafa Hamid speaks for Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the president-elect. And also, John Jinapo is Deputy Minister of Power and MP-elect. Have a good afternoon.